what's up, guys? It's Boosted Mysteries. Welcome back to our channel where we go on drives to scary and mysterious haunted places. I'm Eileen. I drive a Subaru WRX.
And I'm Eddie. I drive an FDRX7. Today we are drinking Latitude 33. Actually, it's a pretty good beer. High alcohol content, 7.2%. It's a blood orange India Pale Ale.
It's pretty good. I like it. So if you like that orange IPA vibe, you should check this out.
You get drunk pretty fast with this one. I'm already starting to feel it.
Yeah, same.
Anyways, guys, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead. We do need subscribers. Hit the bell. That way you know when we post videos. That's going to help the algorithm too, so we can appear on more searches, so we can get more viewers.
Yes, please. But I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. So I'm sure many of you have heard of the movie that came out in 1982 called The Entity. This is one of the very few horror films out there that's actually based on a true story. So today we're taking you with us to Culver City, California to visit the Real Entity House where the paranormal events took place. I do want to go ahead and warn you beforehand that this is a little bit of a disturbing story, and it is pretty sad, so just beware.
Yeah, so the story begins with Doris Bither. She moved to California when she was 10 years old. She had a troubled life of abuse going back to her childhood, and it seemed to get worse as she became an adult. Doris was a 30-year-old single mother of 4 children, 1 girl and 3 boys, all from different fathers. Doris had several failed marriages. She struggled with alcohol and drugs, and she had severe emotional problems. Doris and her 4 children moved to a small, shabby house in Culver City, California.
An elderly woman approached Doris and told her that she used to live there a decade ago, and that what lives in the house is pure evil. Doris just shrugged off the comment from the old lady all too soon because she had no idea what she was about to see for herself.
Doris and her kids had been experiencing paranormal phenomena. She claimed for years that she had been attacked, beaten, bitten, and raped by 3 malevolent spirits.
No one believed her. Whenever she mentioned it, everyone dismissed her, and they used her mental state, drug and alcohol abuse as an explanation for why she was having those experiences. Until one day in August of 1974, researchers Dr. Barry Taff and his associate Carrie Gaynor were giving a lecture on paranormal research at a local bookstore. Doris overheard the lecture and decided to tell them she believed her house was haunted. She told them she had been hearing strange voices, banging on the walls, and seeing mysterious lights, and worst of all, she was being savagely assaulted and beaten by 3 spirits. Not just her, but also her children as well. Unlike everyone else, Dr. Taft took her claim seriously and set up a date to conduct an investigation in her home. They were, however, very skeptical on her rape claims, so they cited the very common occurrence of sleep paralysis as a diagnosis. The investigation began on August 22 of 1974 and went on for about 10 weeks.
Initially, Dr. Taff and Carrie were very skeptical about everything, but when Doris's family members came forward about what they had witnessed, it had changed their minds. The children said they had seen their mother tossed in the air like a rag doll, and in another occasion, Doris's son tried to intervene when he heard his mother screaming. He got thrown across the room and had his arm broken. The activity seemed to calm down after a while, but every time investigators came, the spirits became more violent. So I want to take a break here and ask, what do you guys think about this so far? Because this is very, very scary.
Yeah, to see your mom being tossed around like a rag doll, I would be pissed and scared at the same time. I wouldn't know what to do because I'd be upset that someone's hurting my mom, but freaked out because I can't see what's hurting my mom.
You can't fight them.
You can't fight them because obviously they're throwing her around. They're gonna throw you around. Yeah. I don't know. It's insane.
Yeah, so clearly we know that these ghost figures or apparitions are violent. One thing I did want to say was from one of the articles that we're reading that the son named Brian would play Black Sabbath, and that would actually provoke the spirits and make them like do things in the room. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting because you were saying that
Ozzy like is
Yeah.
he like worships the devil and stuff like that. I mean, it makes sense, but it's kind of weird how that would work. Some songs that Black Sabbath has made, if you play them backwards, they say things that are very evil, apparently.
I actually never knew that. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the situation so far? What would you guys do? Do you get like a pastor to come in and bless the place or to cleanse the place?
Get
or
exorcism done.
Yeah. Like she's not really like she's not taken over by the ghost. She's just kind of being affected by it, right?
Yeah, like I think I would just get the hell out of there. But who knows? Maybe for financial reasons she couldn't.
Yeah, that's our best theory, is that she didn't have the money to move around at that time, which makes the most sense, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But what would you guys do if something happened in your house that paranormal? Anyways, we'll continue here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so during the first interview with one of Doris's sons in the kitchen, the cabinet flung open and then pots and pans fell out at like a curved angle 2.5 feet from where the cabinet was, with no explanation. It did become clear at that point that there was some sort of presence, possibly a poltergeist. Dr. Taft and Carrie noticed that the lights often flickered throughout the house. There were cold spots and bad odors, and they witnessed small, rapidly moving balls on several occasions. The lights were said to change their motion, size, and intensity based on the investigators' request. They took numerous photographs of the entire house, and every time they tried to develop them, there was always a malfunction. However, on one instance, they were able to capture the light. In the photo, the lights appeared as a curved arc of light, right? Kind of like above her. And you'll see right here in the picture that we're showing is exactly the photograph they took. However, the worst events that seemed to happen when investigators weren't in the house. Doris said that 3 semi-visible beings sexually assaulted her. 2 of the smaller beings or apparitions would hold her down by the wrists and ankles, while the remaining spirit raped her. According to Doris's testimony, this happened on multiple occasions, each time leaving behind intense, huge blue and black bruising, especially around her wrists, ankles, breasts, and groin area of the inner thighs.
This is where it gets kind of weird, because every time that she reported that, it seemed to be outside of the window where the investigators and the doctors would see her. So like the doctor, Dr. Taft, never saw that, so he couldn't really report it. So it's kind of really odd that she said that she was being abused and she had bruises, but every time that they would like kind of inspect her, they didn't see anything like that.
Yeah, and I think she never actually went to like the doctor for like rape or anything like that. So it was never documented anywhere, basically.
Mm-hmm. Although there was no proof to suggest that this actually happened, because it was never documented by the investigators, they could at least agree that it was definitely an unwelcome presence in their home. Dr. Taft and Carrie suggested that Doris's family should leave the home, as it was not safe for them to live there. Doris and her kids ended up leaving to Texas. She still kept in touch with Dr. Taft. However, the attacks did not go away. Soon after, Doris and her family disappeared to an unknown location, hiding away from the light brought on by the release of the novel and film.
It was said that Doris continued to be sexually assaulted wherever she went, and at one point even claimed to be impregnated by the entity. Unfortunately, Doris Bither died in 1995 of pulmonary failure, so we'll never really know her side of the story because I don't think she ever came forward about it. But in recent years, her children have come forward and confirmed that all of the events that took place in the home did in fact happen. So, I don't know, like, this whole story just is really sad and scary, in my opinion. Like, I know there's tons of, like, different theories on it.
One theory says that they're all, like, psychic and they're kind of, like, projecting this. So the three apparitions were the sons, and the sons were affecting the mom.
Yeah, because apparently she was leading a less than ideal lifestyle, and like her kids weren't okay with it. At least her older son wasn't. So, she kind of maybe in her head just created this negativity towards them, and that's what poltergeists are, right? They're created by negative energy. So I don't know, it's just wild.
There's lots of different theories on it. It's hard to say whether this is true or not. There are a lot of skeptics on this one, I think. I believe it. I mean, if the researchers saw like a green fog in the room with her and a torso of a man appearing from the green fog, I think that's enough to believe that, she was being affected and it is real.
Yeah, I believe it happened. Like, there's way too many people involved that had seen something. So I do think that what Doris was experiencing is true.
I mean, we went to the property. It wasn't spooky, I would say.
It just looks like a nice little homey house. But it is said that it's not haunted anymore by the current owners. Like, they claim that it's free of ghosts. They're living happily. There's nothing there. So whatever it was attached to Doris and her family.
This story is probably one of the most activity-filled story. Not a lot of other stories that we've come across talk about the amount of like movement like that was happening, like the pots and pans flying out.
The intensity of it all. Yeah,
like the way that she was being like tossed around and stuff. I mean, that is, I don't know if that's true, but I mean, the green fog and the torso, I think, is the most scary.
Remember that they also said that Doris was involved with the occult in her young years.
Yeah.
And she did play the Ouija board a few times. Like, what if maybe, I don't know how that works.
I remember a movie, I don't know if you guys remember this. Comment if you know what movie this is, but I think we watched it recently, but if you play the Ouija board and you don't close it.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Ouija.
Yeah.
I think it's
Oh, my God.
If you don't close the game out correctly, it follows you. Maybe that happened.
Like, it stays open, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It's possible that it stayed open and...
Or she played the Ouija in the house. She played it in the house.
Yeah, because...
And then opened the freaking...
Who's to say she didn't continue to play the Ouija board and do occult things in the current house that she was at?
Yeah. That makes sense. Because when you, from what I know, is that if you open the Ouija board and you play it in your house, you open the portal for them to come through. And then once you do that, it's pretty much fucked. Like, there's only like one way to do it, and you got to close the Ouija board somehow. Yeah. I don't know how. I've never done it. I'm never going to mess with that stuff.
Oh, no, me neither. Count me out.
Let me know what you guys think, because I think the Ouija thing might be something to do with it, because there's been some reports that she did play with it.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I feel like just the image itself of like the arc over her is just kind of weird. Like, there are lots of skeptics saying that it might have been due to like the techniques that the photographers used at the time. It wasn't like the best, and their equipment wasn't the best, so it makes sense why there might have been some glares. But I don't know. Like, to be honest, when do you ever really see ghosts caught on camera? Like, it's super rare.
It's super rare.
Yeah, like, do you think they would actually show themselves? Doubt it.
Anyways,
whatever.
We're going to end it right here. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe, comment what your thoughts are below. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, later. Thanks.
Later, guys.